Shonen Tachi. How you guys doing today? We are back with our second of the back-to-back reviews. This time with Cyborg Ninja Gray Fox from Metal Gear Solid. And I'm very excited for this one. This is an extremely rare figure that I've hunted down for many, many years. Honestly, want to say I took a break, then I got back to it, and then I regretted that because he only got more expensive. And I'm like, you know what? I saw a posting where luckily this guy was brand new, literally has all the plastic on him still. And then this guy was brand new, literally still in the plastic. You know, the tag is yellowed and all that. So I had to get, and this is something I kind of should have mentioned I did mention in the Robin Mask and the 4D Killers Revoltech Mini Reviews, but these guys come in tag teams, like all of them. And what I mean by that is every character has a duo. So Snake has Cyborg Ninja Gray Fox, right? Anybody who's played Metal Gear knows why, right? That's their tag team. What's another tag team that I have right here for you guys? Zap has Klaus, right? Let me show you the back. The back of the box is usually better. Zap has Klaus, right? You get what I mean? Like all these dudes have some kind of duo or rival or antagonist, and it really encourages collecting, right? Iron Man has War Machine, right? So it's like the more you get them, it's like it encourages you to find the rest of them. And I have to admit, of all the ones that I collected, I think these two, and I mean, I knew the Metal Gear ones were gonna be the most expensive. It's Metal Gear. I think these two and Venom Snake were the ones that drove the prettiest price. But that's besides the point. Let's get into the review. So today, we're gonna be taking a look at Cyborg Ninja Gray Fox, okay? We're gonna be taking a look at his presentation, his articulation, his accessories, and then we're gonna also do a few comparisons to my latest full-scale Revoltech Deku. We're gonna do some comparisons to Robot Spirit's Code Geass, just because, I don't know, I feel like the mech thing, even though he's not a mech, probably gonna be a little cool comparison. And then, just for fun, we'll do a comparison with the Perfect Origin art Kinnikuman, just to see how he scales with more recent SH figure arts. So, I hope you guys enjoy. Make sure you guys like and subscribe for more reviews, more figures, more gaming, more everything, and join the J family. So let's get right into it. So really just as I unbox, well, let's look at the back really quick before I get ahead of myself. So as usual, when it comes to the presentation of these boxes, they're pretty universal, right? Obviously you can tell this guy is a bit newer compared to some of the other boxes just because of the condition of the box. But the point that I'm making is they're pretty much the same when it comes to the front. Usually is just a clear foil for you to get a view of the character, which I appreciate the simplicity in that. And then, but I'm saying as the sides, at least the upper and the lower box are all the same. So when it comes to the minis, unless you're someone like Snake, you know what I mean, where they went a little harder on the box. Yeah, that one looks crazy. Where they went a little harder on the box, you know, it's very straightforward, right? So I just really think it looks great though. I mean, look at his cyborg gun arm. It looks super cool. I love the way this figure looks. So it's not really Metal Gear Solid, the game per se, but in Metal Gear Rising, Revengeance, you can play as Cyborg Ninja Gray Fox, this costume, like the skin, even though you're still riding. And oh my God, it was a dream come true. I can't tell you how many playthroughs of the game I did with the Cyborg Ninja Gray Fox skin. And no, I didn't use the Fox blade because that would be cheating. I'm trying to be a little gentle with the box because it's brand new, so it's a little stiff. Usually I do a lore section, but I feel like most people know, unlike Kinnikuman, most people know Metal Gear, so I kind of don't have to do a lore, so it's kind of nice. Damn, he looks cool, man. Oh my God, this is a review I've wanted to do for a long time. I don't even have him out the freaking plastic yet. Oh, nice. These are like Revoltech Minis usually come with like stickers you can throw on like, you know, whatever you want. Throw it on your laptop, throw it on your PC, whatever. I like to save the stickers personally. I'm a weirdo. Oh my gosh. I'm like, can you see the blood pumping through my hands as I just try my best to be fragile with this as possible? I don't even want to edit this out. This is like part of the experience. Oh my gosh. Come on. There we go. All right, I don't really like to force that too much. Wow, just one final bask before he's permanently out of his new status. I mean, I technically already took him out of his new status, but holy schmoly. Wow, 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 wow. Wow, 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 wow. Damn, this guy low-key smokes Warsman, bro. I mean, I'm not trying to do comparisons. I have Warsman right there, so we can actually do a little mini comparison, but let me get this plastic off of him so we can fully appreciate him. I'll cut right back. Okay. I had to cut off cam to get the plastic off, obviously, because that was gonna take a few minutes. I already have a million thoughts running through my head about this guy, but let me just be silent and let's bask in, despite this guy being a minifigure, let's just bask in the beauty of his presentation, because holy smokes, this guy is crazy. Okay, this guy's amazing. He's like a 9 out of 10, but he's not 10 out of 10. He came with a scratch out of the box, and that's not a fault of the seller or my own. That's just how the figure was. There's also, if you're gonna notice it, I know I'm kind of going like laser, but there's just, this figure has a lot going on. There's smudges on the paint all over the place, right? Boom, 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 boom over here. Right? A lot of smudges on the paint. Boom. Boom. I know I mentioned that, but I think, and it's not really a fault of the figure. I'm gonna get a Gundam marker and paint that. It's just literally little, but I don't know. As my adrenaline calmed down a bit, it's still a great figure, honestly. But stuff like that, considering what I paid, it is for me a little like slight tinging frustrating, but I can't really fault the seller for that. He kept it in the box. It's more so that's how the figure came, right? So I'm not gonna blame him for that. I'm not gonna blame the seller. And especially because I noticed this guy has a little bit of weirdness going on. He was the 5th release in the Revoltech Mini 9. But one thing and I know I'm kind of bouncing all over the place, but his thighs, I noticed this was a big difference compared to the other Revoltech Minis I have. He has like this little, like he's a thick boy. For a mini, he's a thick boy. He's a ninja, but he looked like he'd been in the weight room. He's a thick boy. Thick, big, meaty legs. But the point that I'm making about that is if you notice on the top of his legs, he kind of has like this, I want to call it cyborg hip, where these little things right here, they articulate independently, or they're independent, so to speak. But I'm new to handling this figure. I literally just got him out the box. But I can't really get a grip on how I'm supposed to maneuver them. But let's move on to the presentation. I'm sorry, guys. I know we're like 10 minutes into the review, but this figure just has a lot going on. Starting from the top, so just highlighting his phenomenal, astonishing head sculpt. Like, I really love, you can see it too. Not only is it the deep blacks that really hug all the panels of his face, but kind of like these subtle silvers and grays that also accent the little subtleties in the mold, like the dents. The dents in, I don't even want to put my hand in there because it's gonna lose focus. I'm gonna use the pinchers as a way to point. But the dents in his head, I love that. These little, yep, you can see those little, it's not a bullet mark, but those little 3 stripes almost around that hole right there in his mask. And then the crown being this beautiful, shining red jewel that's supposed to represent his eye laser. Well, not eye laser, sorry, laser eye. Infrared laser vision. And he just looks sick. He looks great. He looks great. Which is crazy because he's number 5, right? Obviously, you can tell with the Metal Gear ones, they tried to really capture the Yoji Shinjigawa art style, right? The original artist of Metal Gear, or the one that everyone knows for. And you can really see it in Snake's face, right? Obviously, Cyborg Ninja Gray Fox is more of a ninja, so he has no facial expressions. But with Snake especially, you can see it on the heavy shading. And they did a great thing with the same thing on the Phantom Pain Metal Gear. I really love, even though there was a couple smudges, I really do love though how the orange looks. It's fire. Orange is my favorite color personally, so to see this specific rendition of orange is just awesome. Awesome. Let's see if I can even, like, it looks so good. Even though we're filming in 4K, I feel like I wish I could be filming in like 12K, 20K, 6K. Like, I don't know, man, I'm making up numbers, but he looks really freaking cool. I just love the way, I mean, hopefully the light is catching it, but do you see the paint on his orange and the blue? Yeah, look how the light is catching it on the blue right there. Damn, dude. Damn, son, where'd you find this? Like, holy crap. I'm willing to forgive this scratch. I'm gonna fix that. I'll paint it or whatever. It's not the end of the world, but wow. Sheesh, man. Super good stuff. And then the silver on his wrist gauntlets also looks super stellar. I mean, yeah, there's a couple of imperfections just because of his scale, but what can you do, man? I'm not a hater. I am a hater of that scratch. It's starting to bother me more, but, and a little bit of the smudges, as you can see. It's not a perfect figure. That's why we do these reviews. I bite the bullet. I spend the money. And you guys get to see the reality of what it would be like if you did spend that money, right? So if you were to get a Gray Fox, he's a very rare one. So he's hard to find for cheap compared to Warsman or something like that. He's also a way more popular character. So of course he's gonna be more expensive, but just be mindful even for his high price tag. These figures are figures at the end of the day. They're not perfect. Some of them are better than others. Wow, but I have to say, even despite his imperfections, he looks really good. It's just, I mean, you can tell it's just smudges and scratches. That's all. But he looks really good. All right, let's kind of get into the articulation. So his head has a nice range of motion, similar to the Kinnikuman. He's got that. And what's crazy is, unlike the Kinnikuman though, because of his color scheme, he's very well detailed and painted and molded. I'm not hating on the Kinnikuman. I love all series equally. But I don't know why it seems like they went a little harder with the Metal Gear figures. Not gonna lie. Just being real here. They went the extra mile. Because look at that. I know we already left the presentation portion, but dang, that looks really good. But yeah, you can kind of get, I would say going backward, not as much. Yeah, going backward, not as much. Kind of a shame. But remember, he was number 5. They were still figuring it out. Also, his design doesn't really lend well to, you know, that rear articulation. It would have been nice if, but I get why they didn't do it because, let me pause. But I get why they didn't do it because, especially compared to like the Kinnikuman, who have like that universal back structure / you know, musculature hunch, right? This guy doesn't really have the hunch as crazy as Warsman, right? However, because he has no hunch, I mean, there's still a slight hunch. It's just no real rear head articulation. I mean, Warsman is kind of the same thing, but you get the point that I'm trying to make. I mean, again, this was a later release compared to this guy. So, but still pretty good stuff. Only thing, I don't know if it's just my copy, I feel like he keeps leaning to the left. Maybe it's just my copy. But this is mine's is brand new, but I don't know. To the left, keeps leaning to the left a little bit. He is brand new though. Sometimes these guys have stiff joints. This guy definitely feels a little stiff. But yeah. Pretty good. I think it's decent. It gets the job done. 360. He actually 360s very easily. Wow. A lot smoother than Warsman. Huh. That caught me by surprise. What's his shoulders looking like? His shoulders feel a little stiff. Yeah. Definitely not as crazy range of motion, so to speak. I mean, he just looks really cool, who cares? But not as crazy, I guess, range compared to Warsman, right? Yeah, definitely not. Not even close. Yeah, not even close. But again, later release. Also different, that's a fighter. This is more of a cyborg ninja, different molds. But something to highlight. Especially because the way his cyborg, wow, he just looks mad cool. That was a good angle. Thank you, camera. Especially the way his cyborg traps kind of, I mean, they do connect well. In terms of like seamlessness, I would say of all the Revoltech Mini so far, he's the least gappy. Meaning, if I was to put him in dynamic poses, he would really look like a piece of art. I mean, he already is a piece of art, but you know what I mean. He really looks like the Yoji Shinjikawa art come to life. And I really love that. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Just kind of want to show off what his shoulders were looking like. His elbow, kind of similar to the Kinnikuman, has a nice swivel. His swivels all feel very smooth though. Some of the Kinnikuman swivels felt a little awkward, but everything on him feels very smooth. Wow, and then independent bicep swivel right here from the shoulder. Huh, impressive. Not gonna lie, this guy's impressing me. It just sucks because a figure like him, he's so rare and good looking. Like, let me know how you guys feel in the comment. But figures like him, after I do the review, I'm probably gonna put him back in the box. I know I hate to say it, but he looks too good. He's too pretty. I only opened him up and I lost the value for you guys because I wanted to share the passion. And honestly, even the figures that I keep, I like to open them once and check them out. But this guy looks sick. But yeah, full 360 swivel on the fist, pretty seamless too. And then he also has the mechanic that the other guys have, where you can extend the fist and then get a little more range of motion. And I gotta admit, it looks pretty good, especially because you can just slide the fist back in after you've achieved your desired range. And yeah, it looks great. And then you can just go back to neutral and then slide it back. Okay, so that covers the upper body. This is a swivel, but I'm not really feeling comfortable forcing that. I'm gonna be real with you. But you could probably get a full 360, but I'm not gonna lie, the way that feels, Jman does not feel comfortable. This is definitely not a 360. The upper, like right here, it's definitely not. And again, it's just because of his mold, his design is a lot more restricted compared to like Warsman. Ab crunch, pretty decent, pretty good actually, I'm lying. Decent is the wrong word. Pretty good going forward, especially again, compared to the other designs, really no gap. Really no gap. And then it looks cool as well. His cyber spine, his cyber back, the paint job looks great. I mean, you can see why this guy's an expensive figure. He just looks really damn cool. All right, let's take a look at the Warsman back. You see, because when I do, yep, boom. I mean, right there. I didn't even have to do much. Kind of speaks for itself. But yeah, really good going forward. Going back, not really. Then you get this weird gap there. Non-existent, almost, honestly, I would say. To be real with you. Going forward is great. Going back, he still has it. I'm not saying it's not there, but it's not much. And then combined with the limited, you know, neck articulation. I mean, you could still get a really cool, like, upside down pose. No problem. But in terms of, like, a battle damage pose, probably not. But then again, with a character like this, would you really be putting him in a battle damage pose? Probably not, right? I know I wouldn't be. I'd probably be putting him in like cool ninja poses, at least personally. But yeah, that covers kind of the upper body / midsection. Let's move on to his legs. So I mentioned this earlier in the review, but he has like this upper thigh, kind of like a cyborg hip, where yeah, it's kind of a little cumbersome, I'm not gonna lie. Where if I try to manipulate this is its own piece. I'm trying to like get it to move into a place that's cooperative. And then his thighs are super big, like even bigger than Warsman. Well, I don't know, Warsman is big too, but nah, his are bigger, bro. But it's just because of all the cyborg stuff that he has going on. He's a beefy cyborg. Look at that. Even, I know I kind of already finished presentation, but look at the musculature on his cybernetics. It's crazy. And then the panel lining everywhere. This guy just feels like a mini Super Gundam. Like, it's nuts. But let me get back to articulation. It's just a little cumbersome trying to get this leg up. I'm not gonna lie. Even more so than the Warsman trunk. It's not like it won't cooperate. I mean, I'm getting it to do its thing. Sorry, guys. I'm getting it to do its thing, but I'm not the biggest fan of this piece. So far, at least. I probably have to handle the figure more, but so far, not a fan. Not a fan so far, guys. But yeah, there's that. He does get, and this is why I don't like those hip pieces, because they kind of get in the way. I mean, this left one's cooperating. It's just his right one. He does get the Yujiro split. Yep. Wow, he gets the Yujiro split and there's other figures that don't. Holy crap. This guy is amazing. Spinning body kick. Dude. 12 out of 10 figures so far. I mean, other than the smudges and stuff, which I'm trying to forgive. It's just kind of for the price point. I don't forgive it, but what can I do? Anyways, because it's not like he originally retailed for the price that I paid that for, right? He originally retailed for like $20 to $30 back in the day. It's not my fault he became super rare and then like worth 10 times his value. All right, trying to just fix his ankles for you guys. But as you can see, his legs are pretty great. His legs are pretty great. I'm just a little frustrated by how these little side hips look. Because one of mine looks wobbly and then this one. Yeah, there we go. I mean, you can manipulate it a little more to your liking, but you kind of got to get handy with it. But yeah, I kind of don't like that. That's my only pet peeve. But other than that, pretty great. I already exemplified that he has this double jointed knee. Really good. His ankle back. Yo, he gets like a crazy, like, I know he's not a soccer player, but you really look like you could get him to amp up the kick of his life. It's funny. Really good stuff. Also gets this swivel on the leg, similar to the Kinnikuman, except again, all of his swivels feel very sturdy and nice. And it's like that beautiful sweet spot of it feels sturdy and consistent, but it's also not crazy tight. And then it's also not super loose where the figure just keeps falling apart. It's like the beautiful balance. And I'm happy, very happy with this guy. Honestly, that kind of covers the articulation. Really good stuff. Let's take a quick look at his accessories really quick before we get into some comparisons. Let me very gently place him there. Okay. So we have, let's take a look. Let's use our famous tweezers now. I'm gonna use the tweezers as pointers. I kind of like that idea. We have the footstool base for the Kyoto Revoltech that comes with all of them. We showed that with the Warsman one. We have what I like to call grabbing hands, right? This is to grab his fox blade, right? His one-hit kill katana. This is the backpack that usually goes for the stand that is back here that I will be showcasing in a second. Okay, this clearly seems to be some pair of drama hands. Okay, one for each side. I appreciate that. And then that is his cyborg gun hand. So we're definitely going to show off all of these accessories. I just kind of want to get this one out the box because this one looks really cool. That one looks really cool. Wow. Take a look at that, guys. Ooh, if the camera wants to cooperate. Really good looking. Very detailed. And honestly, if you wanted to, you could hit this with like a marker and go crazy with it. But honestly, I already think the paint job is pretty good and it feels super sturdy. But yeah, if you wanted to, you could go the extra mile and hit that with it like a Gundam marker and like add maybe some paneling, some colors to it. I could add like maybe a red dot. You can go crazy with it. I've been thinking about that a lot. But I get a little intimidated when it comes to painting my stuff. Anyways, we'll get into that I kind of want to do a video about model kits, but the classic Revoltech stand that I mentioned he comes with, and then you see how it has that little peg right there? That's what that's for. So nothing really too crazy. Let's take out, oh man, I kind of just realized they did something. Unless I can maybe get around it. Yeah, they made it so that his, I guess I could get around it by just putting the gun hand on this arm. But he has one weapon hand, and his weapon hand is technically the same hand as his gun arm. Very seamless. Saw how easy that was? Yeah, it's his weapon hand. I have the Soviet soldier, and then I also have this guy, right? So I'm gonna definitely, in the future, when we crack those fellas out, I'm definitely gonna be going crazy giving the other Revoltech Minis weapons. And I was also thinking about, just because I have so many Revoltech Minis now, I was also thinking about just buying, they have like the Revoltech accessory packs, which I personally never owned, obviously. So that'd be kind of cool. Let me just pause. Okay guys, we're back with good news. So good news is you can use the gun arm on either arm. And the way that it works, if I can get the camera to cooperate, there we go. The gun arm is a hollow inside, right? So all you have to do is pop off the hand. Do not, I'm gonna say this loudly, do not pop off the arm, because I popped off the arm unnecessarily and I had to spend a couple minutes to get it back on. Do not pop off the arm. Do not pop off the arm. I'm gonna say that again. All you have to do is take the hand off and then slide this right onto there, very snug. And then all of a sudden, you have the coolest figure that I possibly ever owned. And it just looks freaking sick. I'm just trying to get the posing to work. I'm just trying to be as fragile as possible. That's all. And then boom. If the camera wants to cooperate, there we go. He looks sick, man. Looks really good. I'm definitely gonna do a little photo shoot, but he looks really good. With the gun especially. Damn, man, that's a sick figure. It's a very cool looking figure, man. I'm sorry, I'm just kind of speechless right now. Usually I try to keep my reviews more compact, but this guy just has me stargazed. Literally. This is a figure I've wanted for years. All right, so let me calm my glazing down for a sec and let me get real. This hand, I love it and I hate it. I love it because it's very super mega sturdy. This hand will grip the hell out of whatever weapon you want. I hate it because of its sturdiness, you have to be very, very like, it's a mix of like a little bit of force, but then gentleness, because obviously you don't want to break the hand, you don't want to break the accessories, but you also need to apply a bit of force when getting it into his hand, right? So it's one of those things where as a reviewer, as a collector, I cannot recommend this piece to a newcomer. I know I have recommended the Kinnikuman figures for people who I've said, you know, oh, you want to get a gift for your child or your friend or your significant other. Like, this is a piece where I would literally only acquire this for an experienced collector, for a fan of Metal Gear, and for an older fan at that. I would never, ever spend the money or time or energy to get this piece for a younger fan or inexperienced collector. Because even me, I feel like I made a few mistakes. I mean, this scratch wasn't my fault, but something in my heart makes it feel like it was my fault. And then a couple of other things just handling him, like, you know, the accessory usage. Everything about this figure feels like, even though for his size, I know it's ironic because he's a minifigure and you would think that's more inviting to like casual consumers or collectors. But this guy, man, I'm sorry, man. I feel like he has a barrier to him. And if you're just not super experienced with collecting, I feel like you would end up spending a lot of money to then, I don't know, God forbid, mishandle the figure. So just be very careful, very mindful. So let's do some comparisons with Gray Fox, and we'll do some comparisons with Warsman. We'll do some comparisons with Robot Spirits called Geass. We'll do some comparisons with Kinnikuman and then Deku. So we'll try to make it fast. I will cut back to him not having all his cool weapons on. So give me 1 second. All right, guys, we're back. I got our boys in neutral poses. So let's take a quick look. I have to admit, I didn't really expect this, but Warsman actually looks a little taller than our boy. Yeah, he actually is. Whoa. That caught me by surprise, because these are from the same exact line. These are both Revoltech Mini. Let me see if maybe I'm not getting him in a neutral enough pose. Nah, man. Warsman's bigger, straight up. Wow. I didn't expect that. That's a cool looking pose. Damn, I should make these guys fight. That'd be sick. Nah, man. He's 500% bigger. This feels like a real Revoltech Mini. That's why I said these guys scale a bit better with the SH Figure Arts Kinnikuman. These guys are actually kind of decent for their size. I still love this dude. Even with smudges, scratches, I don't care. I love this guy. Do I love what I paid for the set of them? Probably not, but I know I really paid that premium because of this dude. Literally like fresh out the factory somehow 12 years later. Anyways, but the point that I'm making is he's still great. Especially now that I'm seeing that he's actually a little smaller than Warsman. That's kind of a little cute, actually. He not hating on these guys. These guys are great, but these guys are bigger than these guys. But if you look at him, just as a comparison, I mean, the amount of details are night and day, right? I mean, even with the smudge, who cares? Even with all the drawbacks, the panels, the lining, the paint job, it's like it was made by a different beast. Like, it's insane. And this is why I wanted to collect them, so I can see these differences myself as a fan of these characters and as a fan of this line. Yeah, big difference. Big difference. All right, let's take a look at him and Deku. All right, so Deku is one of my more recent Revoltechs. Just for scale, yeah, Deku's literally twice his size. Again, this is a mini, so he's like, what, 3 inches? Deku's a full-scale 6-inch figure. So, that's one down. Honestly, that wasn't even close, right? Deku's just way bigger. Then we'll do, just because, you know, I feel like they're a little similar. Even though he's a cyborg and this is an actual mecha. We'll do a little comparison with our boy from Robot Spirits, called Geass. Honestly, they don't obviously scale together, but I think they look cool together. And that's kind of why I want to incorporate some of my mecha stuff into the channel more. Because I really love these figures too. I have a lot of mecha stuff. But yeah, he looks really cool. I think these guys look cool together. Hey, who's to say I can't even give Cyborg Ninja Gray Fox his sword, right? That'd be really sick. And yes, this character can sheath their sword. He's really cool. But yeah, quick comparison. And then last but not least, the main reason we started this channel, Kinnikuman. Kinnikuman. We'll do a quick comparison to him very, very briefly. I know they're not even like totally related, but I just thought it'd be channel appropriate. Yeah, I mean, not even close. Kinnikuman is like, yo, you messing with Warsman, bro? But yeah, little fun comparison, nothing crazy. This guy obviously hulks this dude. But I actually like that we did the comparisons because it made me realize how small and cute this little fella is. I really like this guy. I really like him a lot. I am going to double down on what I said though and say that he is a collector's piece. He is definitely not a piece meant for, you know, I'm not even trying to sound like a gatekeeper, because I'm actually not. If you watch my previous reviews and all my gameplay stuff, I'm actually trying to be as inclusive as possible on this channel. But more so in the sense of, just because of the rarity of this figure, the price point that I usually see him floating at, I'm gonna be transparent. I paid like almost 2 something or 1 something plus. I remember I had to talk the guy down, but it was because of Snake, man. It was because of Snake being like literally freaking fresh, brand new. But my point being is, these guys are expensive, and most of the time you'll find that they're sold in a duo, or if they're sold by themselves. I saw one dude try to post him by himself, just this figure alone, for like $300. So it's an expensive little guy, but he's a very well detailed little guy, and an amazing looking little guy, and a very well articulated little guy who has some great accessories. Obviously not as much accessories as some of the other figures that we've highlighted on this line so far. So what you're really paying for when it comes to this figure specifically is you're paying for the character itself, which is Metal Gear Cyborg Ninja Gray Fox. You're paying for the absolutely 12, I don't want to say 12 out of 10 because of the scratches and the paints. So I guess you could say 8 or 9 out of 10 presentation, especially for a size. And just the closeness in the likeness to the Yoji Shinjikawa art style. Like, it's great. I honestly personally really love this figure. And I can say, if we're starting to give reviews letter scores, I'd probably put him at like an A. And the reason I can't put him at A+ is because of the scratches, the paints, and these weird little cyborg hip articulated pieces that never seem to cooperate with me so far. Maybe as I handle the figure more, they will, but as a fresh unboxing, it's not sitting well with me all the time. But it's not like they look terrible. It's just, from the front, that doesn't look great. From the side, it looks fine. I don't know, not the biggest fan of it, but I still think he's a good figure. And I hope you guys enjoyed this review of Cyborg Ninja Gray Fox, our comparisons as well. Make sure you guys like and subscribe to join the J family to get more reviews and to join in on the funds of the minis, because clearly from this review and the last review from Warsman, I'm trying to not only get a bit better at the reviews, but also do more comparisons and use the fact that we have all these figures to our advantage and have a little fun with the comparisons. There is another video I want to do, and it kind of won't be, I guess, a review per se, but I want to do a video where I take, and this obviously will probably be closer towards the end of the journey or a little further down the line, but where I take all of the Revoltech minis out and we just kind of go crazy with like mixing and matching accessories and parts and stuff, and just have a fun blast with it, especially with characters like Snake, you know, all the Snakes and all the Metal Gear guys and Iron Man and stuff who have all these cool accessories. It'll be fun. So I hope you guys enjoyed, and stay tuned for the next review, guys. Thank you very much.